Welcome to Charter Communications Local Edition. I'm Al Travis, and with us today we have the brand new, newly elected Representative Duane Sauke. Thank you very much. You're from 25B, right?
Yep.
Roughly, what is that? What side? The west?
The north third of the center of Rochester. So everything from this station all the way over to Century High School's stoplights, straight north to 75th Street.
Super. Now, newly elected, congratulations. We haven't, as of this taping, haven't take the first day up at the Capitol yet.
No.
Give us a quick background. You're a real estate guy.
I taught for school for 17 years. Career change due to restructuring of schools and to various things. Went into real estate as an alternative career. Ended up hitting with some successes, and was hired to run a real estate company, RE/MAX of Rochester, and eventually became the sole owner of the company. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, I sold the company, or finished the sale, and was enjoying very much watching television and sitting on my couch, and I got a phone call from the previous representative, Kim Norton. She said that she was probably going to not seek re-election and asked me if I was interested.
And you were, because you obviously got in the game, or at least you decided you would.
I did.
So you ran for the last year and a half. What is the number one thing you heard out there from Rochester folks when you're knocking on doors or going to numerous debates and that sort of thing? What's the number one thing people were telling you?
Generally, the public was responding to what they're hearing, and during that period of time, if we all think back, which we probably have forgotten, it was a huge struggle in Minneapolis-St. Paul to get the session finished and to have something done. So that was what the public was really upset about. They wanted the legislature to finish things, they wanted them to get stuff done, and that was grinding to an unmerciful halt. And so that was the biggest thing. The other things that then kind of flow from that, I guess, once the conversation is going, one of the other things I would ask them was about education, if they had strong feelings about that. We moved then into their feeling about the community and that sort of thing. And as it comes up, DMC came up as an issue, but it was quickly more of an issue that they just wanted to know that I was somebody who understood the process.
And for the process, DMC, Destination Medical Center,
Right.
It's already been passed. The money's coming. Is it a matter of understanding the priorities of what gets done first? What is it that they were looking for you to do?
Well, there's two things that happen. The public doesn't know specifically in the hierarchy of legislation who's doing what.
Okay.
So because I'm there and I'm running for an office and they know that's something they're concerned about, they wanted to figure out what I had to say about it. Whether I was going to ever vote on it in the future or not is irrelevant to them. They wanted that issue to be heard.
And so you're a good listener, you get it, you get voted in. So I believe election night had to have been a very happy night. But then at the same time as you watch the entire state elections going on, your side loses the Senate and the House now. It's got to change what you think can or can't get done in the session, right?
Well, it changes your frame of reference because to a large extent that experience of running and then watching the votes come in and that sort of thing, you start to live in this bifurcated society. One is watching all of the rest of what society has experienced, and the other part of it is, how is my race going? And so there's an affirmation of you as an individual that is torn by the disheartening response of the whole party that you have an allegiance with.
And how did that play out for you? Does it give you the sense that Rochester isn't in the same mentality as the rest of outstate Minnesota? What do you draw as the distinction between it? Why is it you were voted in and some of your running mates, if you will, on your team were not?
Well, I think that to a large extent the area, who was a DFLer before and who is a DFLer now in southeast Minnesota didn't actually change very much.
No.
The opportunity was lost. We thought we had great opportunity because we thought we had great candidates across the board, but that was unsuccessful. But if you take a circle and draw it around Rochester, who and which party is representing, hardly changed at all, actually. The big change was in the rest of Minnesota and other parts of Minnesota.
But that's kind of my question to you then. What makes Rochester in the southeastern Minnesota a bit different than the rest of outstate Minnesota?
Well, I think then I guess I'll be so bold as to say maybe the candidates do matter. And they were listening to specific things that the person was putting forward, the way you talk, the way you encourage them to understand that in an individual who is going into a deliberative process to talk with each other can be committed to do that, which then would be a response to what they were most concerned about. Why doesn't somebody get something done? So if you make that commitment, if that's what they hear and they believe they can trust that that's what they're going to get, then they'll support that particular candidate. I think that played this year, and I think it was a significant issue.
And so what did it for you, if I'm hearing correctly, is that you were listening to them and letting them know that you would take their concerns up there and yet get along, that this isn't a let's stop everything. Because as you go up there, they didn't get the budget done last time, the tax bill, the bonding bill, so that all comes up. You have the actual budget that has to get done because it's the budget year. I don't see fear in your eye, don't take this wrong, but you've got to have 1,000,001 things going through your head. What can't get done? Where do I fit into that piece of the puzzle? Everything has to get done in the next 5 months.
Right. That assumes that I carry the responsibility and or even the raw ability to actually do those things individually, which I don't. This is a collegial thing. This is a whole group of people. So at this point, as I sit here taping this today, we are 3 weeks before the legislature will start, and I don't have a committee. I don't have an office. I don't have a phone number yet. So the way this process is going to happen is I'm an individual. I am going to work from now until the start of session getting connected.
Sure.
I've had a lot of background stuff this is how you do participating in a committee, this is how you do all of that general orientation stuff. But as of this date, I'm looking at just getting myself, the individual, connected and up and running. And then, of course, the caucus is going to have to deal with the idea of strategy and how to get along. I think that both sides this time are now having to reset their point of view from last year. It's pretty clear that last year really didn't get there. Yeah. There were a lot of good things done, lots of wonderful things figured out, but at the end of the day, the public still believes they didn't get it done. So that's a new paradigm shift, and I think that even in the first meeting where people were sort of in the press moving on each other, we noticed that the DFL side and the Republican side have both changed their words that they use. And I think that that's a wonderful thing. I've always used linguistics to figure out what is somebody actually saying. When they choose certain words, they will then tend to lean that direction. And it appears right now that both sides are tending to set a different tone that looks like they're more interested in accomplishing them early, doing things on a different schedule. All of those things have been said, and they have only publicly talked once.
So let me ask you this. This is inside baseball, and maybe you can share this and you can't. You do win, and there are caucus people on your side that are like, great, we've got to put that team together. We got to decide where we're going with this caucus leaders. I mean, you went up and voted to say who's going to be in charge. Did those folks get a hold of you and say, let me hold your hand, this is where the restrooms are on the first floor, and then we'll get you this, and by the way, this is where we're looking at you to go? Or do you have some reference, I'd love to be on this committee or that committee, and do you kind of slide that in? Give me some inside baseball. Do you get opportunity to ask your preferences and that they're heard?
Yes to all.
Oh, okay.
So somebody did, they spent time. There was a day when we basically were told where's all the rooms, where does what happen, and how does it feel when you're in these rooms. Then there was a process of being inside of the caucus, or the team as you put it. Once you're inside the team, they also then, and I'm not the only one that's up there fresh and new like this. There were, I think, 11 of us that are fresh and new in our particular caucus, and all of us are being listened to, maybe with just a little different tilt of the head, just to say, what are they saying, what are they adding that we can then maybe change our message toward.
Well, Representative Sauke, I appreciate you very much coming on our program. I can't wait to have you back on again to find out how it goes when you get up there, all right, and see how the inner workings work. Appreciate you coming on the program. This is our Charter Communications Local Edition. I'm Al Travis with Representative Duane Sauke.